Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome here to the launch pad and our live launch coverage of SpaceX Starlink 12-25, set to launch from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. You're joining us here live on either our Starlink 12-25 launch stream or maybe joining us on our Crew 9 tracker as Butch and Sunny are set to return home in just over 2 hours from now with splashdown. Make sure you join us over on there, but we wanted to patch this in as we are now just about 5 minutes away now from liftoff of Falcon 9 from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. This will be the 19th flight of Falcon 9 booster 1077 after previously supporting Crew 5, GPS-3, Space Vehicle 6, Amarasat I-6F2, CRS-28, Intelsat G37, NG-20, TD-7, and 11 previous Starlink missions. SpaceX's autonomous drone ship, a Shortfall Gravitas, is currently stationed downrange in the Atlantic Ocean, ready to recover today's first stage booster. On board today, Starlink V2 minis ready to head up to low Earth orbit. We are listening into the SpaceX mission control feed, so as always, we will pause and listen into that if we hear any updates come through the net. If you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad. We'll work on answering those live while we continue through today's broadcast. Now T-minus 4 minutes and counting. We got lots of people tuning in from all over the world, so if you haven't yet, take a moment, let us know in the chat where you're watching from, engage the like button, share out the stream, invite people to join us. T-minus 3 minutes, 25 seconds and counting. Some of the next major milestones will be the moment when Falcon 9 takes over the count, T-minus 1 minute. That's when it'll also pressurize its tanks to flight levels in preparation for liftoff. T-minus 3 minutes and counting. We got Jackie watching from Belgium, Edwards in East Tennessee. We've got Patriot in Turkey, Natalie's in the UK, Jim Bob's in Ireland, Diego
Stage 1 locks load complete
is in Portugal. We got Mark in Arizona, Glenn's in Virginia, Lasher's in Louisiana. Lots of Louisiana. Prince Rupert, Indiana, Tennessee, New York, Belgium. It's great having you all joining us here. T-minus 2 minutes, 30 seconds and counting till launch. As always, as we get down to that final 2 minutes in the count, let's see a go, no go in the chat. If you're a TLP member, don't forget to use those custom TLP launch emotes. If you're not a member, consider hitting that join button. Just 99 cents a month gets you access to those TLP launch emotes and really does help us expand our coverage to bring you even better coverage from around the world. T-minus 2 minutes. Complete. Looks like a beautiful day down on the Space Coast.
Ground gas closeouts.
T-minus 90 seconds on the count. Next call out will be Falcon 9 taking over the count, immediately followed by that final go for launch from the launch director. T-minus 60 seconds.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
T-minus 45.
The launch director is go for launch.
And there's that call out of the launch director giving that final go for liftoff. At T-minus 3 seconds, engine controllers will command engine ignition sequence to start. And at T0, Falcon 9 will lift off from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station on its 19th flight. T-minus 30 seconds.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Engines full power and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Starlink. Chamber pressures are nominal. Vehicles pitching downrange.
And Falcon 9 has cleared the tower. T plus 30 seconds on the count. And that first milestone up during flight will be max Q. It's a moment of peak mechanical stress on the rocket. We are just 30 seconds away from that, so let's listen for the call out.
Power and telemetry nominal. Vehicle is supersonic. Max Q.
And there's that call out for max Q, the peak mechanical stress on the vehicle. Falcon 9 will now continue to push its way to low Earth orbit. The next event will be the beginning of a sequence of events kicking off 2 minutes 25 seconds into flight, a minute from now, with MECO, or first stage main engine cutoff, immediately followed by first and second stage separation, second engine start, grid fin deploy, and then fairing deployment about 30 seconds later. After fairing deployment, the Starlinks on board will then be exposed to the vacuum of space for the very first time. The first stage will then continue on its journey back down to Earth before it conducts an entry burn and a landing burn. We'll be taking you all the way through those. The fairings will slowly make their way back down and be recovered from the ocean after they splash down a couple hours after launch as well. Let's listen for the call out, starting with MECO, stage separation, and MVAC engine start. About 10 seconds away.
MECO. Stage separation confirmed. Fairing separation confirmed.
And there we saw fairing separation confirming the call out.
Both vehicle trajectories are nominal.
Good sequence of events. The first stage now coasting to its apogee. That's its highest point that it'll achieve. It's not under any power. It's just using the thrust it currently has and its momentum. Once it hits apogee, it'll begin its descent back down to Earth. We always like to have a little bit of fun, so let's see those apogee guesses in the chat. What do you think the highest altitude the first stage will achieve today? The second stage continuing on its journey to its initial parking orbit. The second engine will cut off 8 minutes 39 seconds into flight, and then it'll go into a coast phase until SES-2, or second engine start 2, 53 minutes 59 seconds into flight. It'll do a 2-second burn to finalize its orbit into a deployment orbit, and then about 10 minutes later we will have Starlink deployment. Now, SpaceX no longer provides live coverage of Starlink deployments, so you'll have to stay tuned to their social media and ours for confirmation of deployment, but we'll be taking you all the way through the first stage landing, keeping an eye on the speed and the altitude, currently 115. We'll see if it ticks over to 116. And the speed is increasing, so there we have it. 115 is today's peek. Let's see if anyone got it right. Steven did. Steven Roberts said 115. I see Terminator said 115 as well. U-Flesh very close. Armored Cav really close as well. Always a little bit of fun to have there. Now the first stage beginning its journey back down to Earth. It's completed its 19th ascent to low Earth orbit. Both vehicles are currently over the Kármán line, which is that 100-kilometer international designation of the start of space, but the first stage is quickly approaching it, and then it will begin to enter the Earth's atmosphere. The first stage will conduct an entry burn. Entry burn startup is expected to begin just under a minute from now. That entry burn lasting 25 seconds today. It will then enter a kind of free fall, controlled free fall, back down to the drone ship, a short fall of gravitas. If it's your first time here, though, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the Launchpad Network. If it's your first time here, take a moment. If you like space, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out, and we'd love to invite you back for another live launch coverage. Of course, we are following along with the return of Crew 9, but we bring you full launch coverage of almost every rocket from around the world, as well as in-space coverage at the ISS, missions to the Moon and Mars with our mission trackers, and more, and we'd love to have you as part of the community. If you're interested in space and want to hang out with some amazing space people, also consider joining us over on the TLP Discord. That's where our community hangs out in between streams. We'd love to see you there. Let's listen for the call out of entry burn.
Stage 1 FTS has safed.
Stage 1, entry burn startup. Stage 1, entry burn, shutdown.
And there we saw a good entry burn. The first stage now using just its
Stage 2
body
FTS has saved.
and those grid fins to fly it back down
Be nominal.
to the drone ship, a short fall of gravitas. We'll hopefully have great live views of that. Second stage continuing under power, now passing 150 kilometers in altitude, traveling over 17,400 kilometers an hour. Now keep an eye on the speed of the first stage. It is really starting to burn off that speed just by using the thickness of the atmosphere, its body, and those grid fins. Coming down to 12 kilometers and descending, still traveling over 2,500 kilometers an hour. We are just a few moments away from landing burn start, about 30 seconds from now. Let's listen for those
Stage
call-outs.
1 transonic.
Stage 1, landing burn. Stage 1, landing light deploy.
We had a little bit of buffer on the SpaceX feed, but there we have touchdown of Falcon 9 completing its 19th mission, standing by to see SECO 1, second engine cutoff 1. Sorry about that there, everyone. That is going to do it for our live coverage of SpaceX Starlink 12-25, but don't go anywhere. Head on over to one of our Crew 9 Return to Earth trackers, as we are just 1 hour away from the deorbit burn, committing Butch and Sunny and Crew 9 to return to Earth, 1 hour 49 minutes away from splashdown. If it was your first time here, though, make sure you engage that subscribe button so you never miss another live launch coverage.